redesigned and modernized from the United States 1000 Marine Corps A-4-1000 Skyhawk model. The A-4 Argentina is a fighter bomber created for the Argentine Air Force by the company Lockheed Martin, which was in the country at that time, and renamed as A-4AR Fightinghawk, as it carried a lot of avionics from the F-16 Fighting Falcon. Welcome to a new video from the world of aviation's Aeropedia. In 1965, the Argentine Air Force bought a batch of 50 A-4B from the United States Navy. They would be the first aircraft of the Air Force with in-flight refueling capability. Between 1976 and 78, 25 A-4C arrived in the country. The difference between an A-4B and a 100, like the one we see here, is that the latter is an all-weather variant of the former, with an APG-53 radar, autopilot, low-altitude bombing system, and a more powerful engine that the A-4BB did not have. The first A-4 Skyhawk that the Argentine Air Force operated arrived in the country in 1966. 49 A-4B Skyhawk were put into operation, and in the year 75 they began to incorporate 25 A-4-100, which years later participated in the Falklands War. After the Falklands War, the Air Force needed modern planes to replace those lost in the conflict. Originally, the Air Force had been interested in the F-18 Hornet and the F-16 Fighting Falcon, although the refusal to sell this equipment by the United States results in an offer of a batch of 36 instead, A-4Ms, that were being passed to the reserve by the United States Marines, of which 4 were B-Plaza or about 2.48 miles, A-4-1000. In 1997, the State Factory Military Aircraft Factory, or Military Aircraft Factory, becomes Lockheed Martin. Although as early as 1995, modernization work had begun on 18 cells at Lockheed's facilities in Chino, California, the remaining would be done at this company's future facilities in Argentina. In the middle of 1997, the pilots and technicians of the Argentine Air Force went to California to carry out the training that would prepare them to operate the A-4 Argentina. On July 17th of that same year, this model made its first flight. From David Mountain Base, the Argentine aviators were dispatched, who undertook the ferry flight to transfer them to the country. The final plane departed the factory on January 7th, 2000. It is a single-engine fighter-bomber design. It has a maximum takeoff weight of 11 tons and a range of up to 520 kilometers. With 1,815 kilograms of armament, its maximum speed is 1,080 kilometers per hour, and it has 5 attachment points for carrying up to 4,170 kilograms of armament. The armored front windshield changes the oval shape that the previous A4-100 and A4B models had to a square one. As shown, the expanded cabin improves forward, backward, and side views. It has two 20mm Colt Mk12 cannons with a total of 200 rounds and can carry two AIM-9 Sidewinder infrared-guided air-to-air missiles. Behind the cabin is the 870-liter fuel tank, followed by the engine. The biplaza carries 454 liters less due to having adapted another position. The rodomo was replaced by a composite 8. This housed a diminished APG-66 multi-mode radar antenna that the F-16s had at that time. Fighting Falcon of the A and B versions. The specimens coming from the United States carried the avionics of Block A, but in Argentina they were taken to Block C3B, optimizing their combat capabilities, interaction of systems, and enabling full radar operation to the maximum of its capacity. This was applied to the rest of the fleet. On the top of the plane, what you see is a kind of hump, which I have been asked a lot, what is it and why don't the other versions have it? This contains avionics equipment and electronic countermeasures. It is powered by the Pratt & Whitney J52 P400 8A turbojet, and this engine delivers about 5,080 kilograms of thrust, which is 20% more than the power plants of the predecessor models of the A4 amplitude modulation. I hope you liked it. Until a new video from the world of aviation Aeropedia.